Every year, hundreds of bills come out of the Idaho legislature on topics that will impact all our daily lives. We'll keep you up to date on what's happening at the Idaho State House all during the legislative session. Search Idaho Matters wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning and happy Friday. It's the Connector Idaho Daily News from Boise State Public Radio. I'm Troy Oppie. This morning, lawmakers are blowing past their target adjournment date as they say budgets need more work. We'll get a preview of this coming week's World Alpine Ski Championships in Sun Valley and Ketchum. Lawmakers are paring back a bill that would have started distancing the state from a medical school partnership with the University of Washington. And Boise State is losing its president to the same role at the University of Vermont. Why? Marlene Tromp says she's leaving. That's all on this morning's Connector from Boise State Public Radio. U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has declined to issue a preliminary injunction on an Idaho law restricting access to bathrooms, locker rooms, and other similar spaces in public schools to a person's, quote, biological gender. A transgender student and a legal advocacy group sued to stop 2023's Senate Bill 1100, but the law remains in place as the legal challenge goes forward. The student pulled out of the lawsuit last July. A lower court previously declined to temporarily block the law, ruling that challengers had not shown a likelihood to prevail at trial. The Ninth Circuit yesterday unanimously upheld that ruling. The case includes attorneys general from multiple states and conservative Christian defense legal group Alliance Defending Freedom coming to Idaho's legal defense. Proceedings now return to Idaho District Court before Judge David Nye. House lawmakers killed another two budgets yesterday over spending concerns. As James Dawson reports, that move ensures the legislature will not meet its target date to adjourn, which had been today.
The trouble started with the budget covering the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare's administrative arm. It included $2.3 million in state funds for tech upgrades and 40 new vehicles. The division's budget would still be cut by 2.1%, but that wasn't enough for Republican Representative David Leavitt.
I will not vote for anything that creates more full-time positions, takes federal monies, or increases the overall budget above the maintenance budget by 1.2%.
The budget failed 30-40. A few minutes later, Republican Representative Rod Furness presented the budget for IDHW's Behavioral Health Division. It would have added $5,000 in state funds and a 0.2% increase to the bottom line.
I would hope that you could pass this budget and we could go home.
That line didn't work. Even fewer people voted for it after no debate, failing 20-50. Because these budgets only include new spending, lawmakers could adjourn without taking them up again. Before it leaves town, the legislature still needs to adopt a K-12 education budget. That's supposed to be set in committee this morning. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
Idaho lawmakers have torched nearly $25 million in federally provided home energy efficiency rebates. The Idaho Capitol Sun reports the Joint Finance Appropriation Committee this week left the program out of the State Office of Energy and Mineral Resources budget because committee members say there wasn't enough support for the legislation with the rebate program included. It's not clear which lawmakers were unsupportive. Republican Senator Jim Woodward motioned to approve the budget without the rebate, but said he was in favor of the program. But that, quote, based on conversations, I have not heard the support for it, unquote. That means Idaho will send back $24.6 million to the federal government for other states to use for their energy efficiency rebate programs instead. That funding would have supported low to middle four-figure rebates in Idaho for improvements of 20% or more in home energy efficiency through 2031. The program is part of the Inflation Reduction Act, which is being targeted for repeal by the Trump administration. Idaho lawmakers are paring back a bill that would have begun distancing its relationship with the University of Washington School of Medicine. As written, the proposal would have cut 10 seats for Idaho students from the WWAMI program and instead expanded placements with the University of Utah's medical school. But a new amendment proposed yesterday would drop the requirement to reduce seats with UW. Here's Republican Senator Kevin Cook.
Everybody is working together, so right now there is no intent of dropping those 10 seats.
Supporters of the bill wanted to grow the number of physician students to help increase the number of medical doctors in Idaho. Opponents worry prior versions would have done the opposite. We've been hearing this week the potential impact of a new bill that would force Idaho's biggest cities to crack down on homelessness. That bill is now headed to the House floor. Our James Dawson is back with this update.
Any city with a population over 100,000 would have to have an ordinance banning outdoor camping at any time under the proposal. The bill's sponsor, Republican Senator Cody Galloway, says it will not criminalize homelessness.
This has nothing to do with that. All it's asking is for the cities to manage this population, and they can choose how they want to do that.
That's part of the reason why Boise opposes the measure. The city has had an anti-camping ordinance since 1993, but it's worried about facing civil fines if its police don't strictly enforce it. Democratic Representative Brooke Green, who opposed the bill, says lawmakers should target the root causes of homelessness instead.
I am not going to support this legislation that is going to prevent people from finding an escape for whatever that may look like. This is not solving the problem.
The bill already passed the Senate and just needs approval from the House to advance to the governor's desk. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
Documents provided to state lawmakers this week show Idaho Power has agreed to pay $800,000 to settle potential liability for last summer's Valley Fire, which burned nearly 10,000 acres near Highway 21 just east of Boise. The Idaho Capital Sun reports a State Department of Lands investigation found that a downed power line sparked that blaze. The utility admitted last fall one of its power poles had failed. The money proposed in the settlement between Idaho Power and the State Department of Fish and Game is for habitat restoration in the affected part of the Boise River Wildlife Management Area. Officials say that's important winter range for large game. The two sides have agreed to the terms, but the settlement is not yet official. The issue came before lawmakers this week so they could approve the $800,000 addition to this year's Fish and Game budget. It is going to be an extraordinarily busy next 10 days or so in Ketchum and Sun Valley and the rest of the Wood River Valley, too. Thousands of spectators and elite athletes will fill the towns and slopes in the Wood River Valley for the Alpine Skiing World Cup Finals. Here's George Prentice with a preview.
Opening ceremonies get underway today at 5:30 for what has been called the Super Bowl of ski racing. The best of the best skiers on the planet will be flying down Bald Mountain for the next week.
This is very new to our community, and we're really excited about it.
That's Ketchum Mayor Neil Bradshaw. Visitors are expected to double his town's population over the next 7 days, and a World Cup festival featuring live music and food-focused pop-ups will shut down a stretch of Ketchum's Main Street.
They're going to be things we prepared for and things that'll be new to us. And I think with a little patience, we're going to have an amazing event.
Up on the mountain, spectators will see gold medal superstars Lindsey Vonn and Michaela Schifrin compete, plus Idaho native Breezy Johnson. Skiing legend and Sun Valley native Peekaboo Street will be doing the commentary on network television, and you can catch live coverage this Saturday and Sunday on NBC, and it continues next week on the USA Network. George Prentice, Boise State Public Radio News.
And finally, on this Friday, Boise State University President Dr. Marlene Tromp says she'll leave Boise State this summer. She's taking the role as president at the University of Vermont. In a farewell statement yesterday, Tromp thanked the Boise State community and celebrated new programs and growth of her 6-year tenure. Idaho State Board of Education is expected to announce a succession plan in the coming weeks. Tromp was the only finalist for the job. She met with the Vermont community in public forums this week. And we get this report from WAMC, Northeast Public Radio's Pat Bradley.
As the hour-long forum began, Board of Trustees immediate past chair Ron Lumbra explained what criteria the search committee had set.
We want someone who is a proven leader who can help us in this really trying, difficult period for academia. We want someone with strategic vision and direction, but who can put that vision and direction to work. But equally important, we want someone who demonstrates empathy and who can really engage with our community. And that engagement with our community was one of the most important hallmarks of the remit that we had in looking at candidates.
The search committee of 18 campus and community members considered over 30 candidates and interviewed more than a third of them. Tromp received unanimous support from the search committee and the Board of Trustees.
I did grow up in a small town in Wyoming. I am a professor of English and women's studies I launched a queer studies program at my first institution. I've spent my life committed to the work of higher education because I believe it allows us to change people's lives so they can change the world. And I think that's something that the University of Vermont is deeply committed to. I'm excited about what this university can accomplish, particularly in this time, when so many things that we deeply value in higher education and in the work of making the world a better place feel profoundly under attack.
The Trump administration has issued several mandates aimed at curtailing student protests. Trump was asked how she would approach freedom of expression and how she would empower student voices. Trump said she is a strong advocate for academic freedom and believes it is the bedrock of a university.
Student voices need to be allowed to be heard on a college campus. In fact, our students have so much to teach us about where we can go and how we can navigate the challenges ahead. The university is a place where differences of opinion and ideas should be able to be debated and engaged. It is a difficult time for people to feel they can speak freely, which is why it is so important for people to feel the freedom to pursue their academic interests, to speak, to disagree, and to make the space available for that dialogue.
Among the written questions for Trump were several that asked why she wants the job, since UVM is smaller than Boise State University, which she currently leads.
UVM is one of the most impactful universities in this country. The research engine of this university has revved up in such a way that it is poised to make such a powerful impact. It can't be slowed down by the challenges that are ahead. The idea of being at a place that is differently governed, to think about what it can mean in defense of democracy, to think about the way that technology and health and the insights that come from across a research enterprise can feed into that. This can be a transformative moment for letting UVM lead and lead the nation and lead the world.
Trump replaces Dr. Suresh Garamella, who left last fall to lead the University of Arizona. Provost Patricia Prelock has been serving as interim president. I'm Pat Bradley, WAMC News.
And thanks to WAMC for sharing that report with us at Boise State Public Radio. Thanks for listening to The Connector. Hope you have a great weekend. We have warming temperatures coming early next week, mid and upper 70s possible in the Boise area. Look forward to that. I'm Troy Oppie. Our news director is Sasha Woodruff. Our digital strategy manager is Lacey Daly. Our general manager is Tom Michael. Make it a great day. Make it a great weekend. We'll catch you again on Monday.